Hi there, it's Vanessa from Cove, and you're listening to the 73rd edition of The Networker. This week, we're exploring how connection shows up when you least expect it. From conversations sparked on vacation, to paddle courts replacing golf courses, from why 5 year career plans may no longer serve us to how community is quietly built through consistency, mentorship, and thoughtful follow up. We'll also look at how reputation travels ahead of us, why networking still feels hard for many, and how purpose reshapes who and how we connect. So let's dive in. Our first story comes from Fast Company, and it challenges a long held boundary between work and rest. Erica Lamberg explores how travel conversations with strangers can sometimes turn into meaningful professional connections. Not because you're trying to network, but because unfamiliar settings lower defenses. On a plane, at a hotel bar, or during a shared delay, people show up more open and human. The lesson isn't to turn PTO into a conference, but to recognize when curiosity and presence open unexpected doors. That idea of informal connection continues in CNA, where paddle is quietly becoming the new networking playground. Professionals across Singapore are swapping fairways for glass courts, discovering that shared movement, teamwork, and post-game conversations create trust faster than business cards ever could. With low barriers to entry and rotating partners, paddle flattens hierarchy and turns play into relationship. Connection here feels organic because it is. From play to planning, HRD America shares a provocative perspective from LinkedIn CEO Ryan Roslansky, who argues that 5 year career plans are no longer realistic. In a world shaped by AI and rapid change, he suggests focusing on short learning horizons instead of rigid ladders. Careers now move sideways, diagonally, and in chapters. Opportunity opens through adaptability and relationships, not long-range certainty. That shift is echoed in a reflective piece from JD Supra, where Lindsay Griffiths looks back on 2025 through the lens of community building. Her insight is simple but powerful. Quiet years are not empty years. Showing up consistently, even without immediate outcomes, strengthens trust. Real community isn't built through scale or speed, but through steady presence, in-person moments, and the willingness to let go of what no longer fits. From reflection to practice, Cove Insights takes us inside November's Joyful Connection Masterclass. The focus was not on collecting contacts, but on what happens next. Through the HE framework, the 3 I's, and simple connection rituals, the session offered a rhythm for follow-up that feels human instead of heavy. The reminder was clear: follow-up is not an obligation, it's a choice to care. Still, even with tools and frameworks, networking can feel exhausting. In the business journals, Alana Muller explains why time pressure, fear of rejection, and digital overload have turned connection into effort. Her message reframes networking as something relational, not transactional. When conversations aren't driven by urgency or asks, they become lighter, more sustainable, and easier to return to. Our final story comes from Forbes, where Victoria Marshall explores how online reputation quietly shapes dating, hiring, and referrals. Long before we enter a room, our digital trail often arrives first, sometimes filtered through AI. Her takeaway isn't about perfection, but intention. In an algorithmic world, clarity and consistency online are now part of professional hygiene. Reputation travels whether we manage it or not. Before we wrap up, let's turn to this week's recommendations. Our book of the week is Networking is a Contact Sport by Joe Sweeney. It's a reminder that the most powerful networks are built through giving, not extracting. When relationships are nurtured with consistency and service, influence follows naturally over time. And our podcast of the week asks a question many new leaders quietly struggle with. How do I manage my former peers now that I'm their boss? The episode explores how authority works best when paired with self-awareness. Respect grows when leaders manage themselves first, balance accountability with empathy, and meet people where they are. That's all for the 73rd edition of The Networker. The thread running through every story this week is clear. Connection is strongest when it's unforced. Whether it starts on a court, a plane, a screen, or a quiet follow-up message, relationships grow when we show up with presence, intention, and care. Until next time, stay connected, stay curious, and remember, your next opportunity may already be forming in a conversation you didn't plan. And don't forget, the full edition of The Networker is waiting for you in your inbox. I'll see you next time.